All right, great to see you guys. Yeah, hi, Charles Latora. I hope to goodness, yeah, I heard you're sniffling there. I hope it's not too bad. Great to see you, Crispy Galactic, as per usual. I mean, this is just mind-blowing. This has been an amazing, well, it's been an interesting week. I'll just tell you that much. Super nice to see you, Meandering Mike. Charles Latora says, Hexy said I should stop painting more minis and get back into the Napoleonics. While I burned through the game, while the game last night, that kept me happy for a bit. Let's be honest, Charles Latora, you do a ton of stuff. It's just crazy. Anyways, like I said, super great to see you guys. Welcome everybody. I will say this as well, Meandering Mike. You were mentioning there when we were talking privately last Sunday about my whatever. Yeah, I'm still not sure about this yet. I'll be honest with you. I prefer, I'm not a sitter. So I'm trying to figure out at some point if I could do maybe a standing type thing. I far prefer to stand. It drives me up the tree to actually sit. So yeah, that's it. If I can figure out something, I would also like to get a bit of a map or something like that. Yeah, this is a bit too whatever, but we'll see how it goes. So please let me know how you're doing. And I did write a few things down. I don't know if William Arends is going to pop by later, but I want to find out how he's doing with his counter making exploration. And I'm just going to go quickly bit here. I just want to find out what you guys have been up to. I do know you were saying, Crispy Galactic, last week with your son's birthday that potentially you guys were going to play Risk together, and I was like, that really that caught my eye or caught my attention. So I'd like to find out a little bit more about it. If you guys did play Risk, you play Risk a lot, or what the heck? I haven't played Risk in a dog's age, but I did play. I guess something similar to that would be the Axis and Allies World War I, 1914, which I played a little bit of it, but it was really exciting. I really enjoyed it. Charles Latora as well. I'm sorry about your sniffles. And like I was saying, you're just a monster of stuff that you're doing. It's just like amazing. I don't care if people are like, oh, here he goes off again. Meandering Mike. Amazing what you like. I just jaw dropped. I was thinking about it last night. I was like, how many hours did you put in total for that? You know what I mean? Like so much game for such, so much time for such a small footprint game, the Letau Vorbeck stuff. So thank you so much. I don't care. I mean, I'm just going to throw it out there. Like I admire what you do. I think it's admirable. And I know how much work and effort must go into that type of stuff. So thank you so much, man. I mean, like I'm going to use that as a resource later on. I think I mentioned in one of my comments when I got, hopefully do get to play the Leto Vorbeck thing. And as well as you got like a huge amount of reading material. It's just I'm just absolutely astounded that somebody could get that much research material hammered in such a quick amount when you're doing other stuff as well, and then you're off to the mighty endeavor. So thank you very much. Yeah, Charles Latora, exactly. I was this one was like a little bit. I just thought like it was a little bit over the yeah. He set the bar up a little bit more. All right, we've got a few people here, so I'm going to pop on the History Heroes trivia thing, and believe it or not, this is the last one. So that's the end. You guys blew the deck. After this, there's no more left. So starting next week, I guess I'm going to have to come up with my own who or what am I people, and just go from there and try to figure out some clues. And yeah, obviously I won't be able to do these nice little colorful illustrations or whatever, but that'll be that. Okay, I'm going to pop in my the first banner here. So this is it, guys. The very last one of like the official History Heroes thing. I'm just like astounded. So there you go. I ruined German hopes for a quick victory on the Western Front. Who am I? And I'll put that in as well as in the comments. Hold on here. Crispy Galactic says, Risk was amazing as always. My boys are 9 and 12. and heavy into risk that they've abandoned the original board and created their own monster Bristol board empire. Oh my gosh. Crispy Galactic, your kids sound so much like my friend who comes over here once in a blue moon. Oh, interesting, Charles Latora. Very close. You're getting a point, but you're wrong. Sorry, I'll put it in the comments as well. Where are you? So I ruined German hopes for a quick victory on the Western Front. Anyways, Crispy Galactic, when I've talked with Rob about, what's going on, and there's the man, William Arends. Hello from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada, who potentially, I'm not going to give you bonus points if you get this because you're close to Meandering Mike. But let's be honest, I was actually knowing there's no way in hell anybody's going to beat Meandering Mike for this. Here, I'll put it in the, it's doing it. There we go. Why does it say keep doing that to me? I don't know why it. Anyways, oh well. I'm not. It doesn't want to let me put it in the thing. I'm going to give you guys another banner thingamajig. So William Arends, how are you doing? Please let us know what you're up to. And I don't want to step on your toes or whatever, but I'm going to offer my assistance if you do want to chit chat or get or you would like me to maybe do a video or something about my counter making experiences over the years. I would more than willing to do something like that. William Arends says, Patin, you're going to get a point, but you're wrong. And the second, I'll try this and see if it works. I don't know why it wouldn't let me put it in the comments unless I did, wait a minute, unless I did something funky. I'll try to grab it again. I was given, so did I put that in? Yeah, I was given credit for stopping the German advance in Paris in 1914. Charles Latora says, I'm going to start my Dragon Rampant scenario. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to say on a side note, guys, this has been one of the most stressful weeks I've had in ages. My God. Just been nuts. So let's see if this works. I don't know why it keeps giving me errors when I put. Oh my gosh. Okay, this one worked. But I'll tell you, it's been, so, and the stress level has dropped dramatically since yesterday, but I'm still kind of like snapping back into it. Okay, so I've put that one, and you guys still can't get this. I'm really surprised. So I'm going to give you the third one. And the third banner, here we go, is my calm command of the retreating allies led to our victory at the first Battle of the Marne. Who am I? And I'll put that in the comments as well. And then we're going to go off to news. There's not a lot of news this week. So I tried to find a few interesting things or newsy things and to go from there kind of thing. So put that in. You guys still haven't figured this out. My God, what's going on here? Yeah, maybe we'll just go to, I'll start sharing the first little bit of the screen thing, and then we'll see if you guys can at some point figure out what in the world's going on here. I'm going to make sure that I can see what I wanted to show you. So this, like I said, is not really a news piece, but I sure got my mind blown with, I watched this lecture this week. I'll make it super big. We're not going to watch it. But like I said, yet again, I've put this in the, oh yeah, I keep forgetting. I'm finding these interesting little, that I actually think is a not bad little split screen kind of thing. This lecture, holy smokes, is it good? It starts at around the 7-minute mark. Thank God one of the commenters mentions it, because I'm like, I was watching the first few minutes. I'm like, what in the world's going on? Or is there just like he's walking around, nothing's really happening. Dr. Richard Faulkner is without a doubt one of the best entertaining, knowledgeable lecturers I've ever. He's a repeat offender for me. Knows that he did like a massive lecture on the Galicia Tarnith breakthrough when I was starting to get in with Ken X to do the scenario with Der Weltkrieg. He was there for it. Anyways, I would say this lecture, if you want a synopsis of, I would say, what happened in World War I from the Western Front perspective. And even, I would say, put it this way, if somebody right now came to me and said, you know, I'm kind of interested in World War I, can you give me a whatever, or know of a whatever, like in roughly 1 hour to just find out and be entertaining and make sure that I'm getting a lot of knowledge, I would go definitely for this lecture. So I popped it in the sources and links. It is incredible. I'm going to watch this one. Oh yeah, this will be something I'll watch over and over and over again because it's just so good. It's kind of, like I said, a 1 hour recap of the entire evolution of how it started. And he talks about, you know, the thinking before going into and whatever. I will give you one little anecdote that I remember that I wrote down, put in here because I thought it was, it's just mind blowing to realize, and yet again with the evolution of trench warfare. And I would like to talk about that at in another piece of news when we get to it. He said that by the time the Battle of the Somme was about to happen, the British had figured out, because of the sophistication, the elaborate network, the whole 9 yards, pardon the pun, of the German trench works. I'm like, what? And imagine this is like one of the commenters said afterwards. He goes, did they factor in like about duds? And the guy said, probably not. Anyways, they figured out that they would need 660 pounds of artillery shell per yard of trench to knock it out by the time the Battle of the Somme occurred. And it's just like, whoa, that to me, it was just like an eye-opener and a half. Okay, so I've done that one. That's one biggie. I'm going to give you another banner. I'm just absolutely gobsmacked that you guys have not figured this out yet. So there's your other ones. My defeat of the Germans in 1914 led to them digging in. So ironic that we're talking about trenches here, in literally to trench warfare. Who am I? And I'll pop that in the there we go, in the thing as well. Boom! The master. I'm sorry to say, everybody else, let's be honest. Meandering Mike, William Arends scared the living dickens repeatedly, I would say. He was nipping at your heels. And but yes, you did it, Meandering Mike. So we'll stop, and I'm just going to go straight to the cards. And I will say this, earlier in the day, when I knew for a fact there's no bloody way. Like I said, though, we're going to continue on with this. And maybe do some different things. But I was trying to find, like, if there's going to be some kind of weird, I could do like some little party thing, have your name on it. But I was like, okay, I'm just going to drive myself nuts. Trying, like, focus on the real stuff is what I'm trying to say here. So I'm going to stop the screen temporarily so I can go and grab the that little graphic, which will be our very last History Heroes nice little illustration graphic. Oh gosh, and I get rid of the banners. There we go. We go back to the comments because I think I'm probably missing a ton. Icon command, nope. Joffre, we're there. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the History Heroes, and then we can take a look at the nice little, Joseph Joffre. So I'm going to put it into view, display options. Okay, I've got it to the window width. Charles Latora says, this has been fun. Did not know I was so uneducated in World War I. You, trust me, man. Oh, yeah. Are you good? Okay. Perfect. I'm so glad you said that, Charles Latora, because I was thinking partially it was a little bit of an indulgence, but no. I'm not. It's not. I'm going to pop on something that I was reading in the trench warfare book, and I'm not going to say it yet, but it's got something about what I think you are alluding to. Okay, so let me present the thing here. And yet again, oh yes, I tested it out a tiny bit this morning. Trying to see, okay, where I could put the text when we get to the week, and go through the running list, and also take a look at some of the newspaper articles from the Globe and stuff. I was like, okay, if I'm going to have my little picture there, I wanted to make sure that everything was going to look nice, and it does look nice. Okay, goody. Crispy Galactic says, give me some books I can read, please, boys. Oh my gosh. Yes, and you know what, Crispy Galactic, you're going to obviously have to give me your mailing address. I've got a little library that I've been amassing here, and well, you as well. You can get them from your library. But you're right. And Harro Bosma, who I miss, I was thinking about. It's only going to be a few more weeks, and he'll be back. Is that Harro Bosma had mentioned too that we're kind of like this little book club sharing of stuff, and I was like, yeah, let's maybe, like I said, maybe I'll put it on a community tab or some kind of separate thing where we can go. Everybody can just go for a resource here. Okay, so I'm going to bump this up so we can there, so you guys can see the there. This is awesome. Okay, so Joseph Joffre. I was Marshal and Commander-in-Chief of the French Army from 1911 to 1916. I was given the credit for stopping the German advance on Paris in 1914. My calm command of the retreating Allies led to our victory at the First Battle of the Marne. Many Mexicans have forgotten more of what I've read than what I've remembered. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That's what I don't know about you, but that's why I rewatch things, and it's just jaw dropping to go, oh my God, I can't believe my mind attention span. I ruined German hopes for a quick victory on the Western Front. My defeat of the Germans in 1914 led to them digging in literally to trench warfare. My lack of preparation of the French troops at Verdun in Verdun in 1916 led to military disaster, and the Joker fact, always held in great affection by the French. They called me Papa. And that's it. It's just so neat to know that was, it was, I'm just amazed. We went through all those cards at the very beginning. I was just like, wow. Crispy Galactic says, yes, excellent. And Charles Latora says the same. Okay, what was that? Well, what am I saying? I've got a list here, for goodness sakes. So the History of Heroes is done. I did that one. Now, do you remember a few weeks ago, Charles Latora, you said, hey, man, I just got a new subscriber called the Lakeside Gamer. And then Meandering Mike shortly after said, hey, wait a minute, so did I. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a bit of a voyeur. And I'm going to go and take a look at this Lakeside Gamer dude and see what his channel's like. And you know what? It's pretty freaking cool. So let's take a quickie look. And he's got a ton of World War I stuff. I was like, okay, sounds good to me. So I'm going to put you guys back to the present. I'm going to present the window. Yeah, wait until you see. Yeah, I know, like a serial killer gamer or something. So I'll put them in, and hopefully you guys can see that. Yes, Meandering Mike says, I remember Joffre more for the Somme, remembering the failures more than the successes. Okay. I'm not there yet in my head in 1916 yet, so it's like you're ahead of me. So it's going to be neat to find out. All I know is the 660, and it happened on July 1st, which is a biggie for us. So there, here's the Lakeside Gamer dude, and I'm on his videos thing, and you can see the kind of the stuff. Hopefully, I'm going to make it. Will that make him? Yeah, excellent. So. You guys can see a bit better of his stuff, but he does some Axis and Allies. He seems to be like some kind of like an educator as well. I haven't watched any of his videos yet, but he seems really intriguing. And then I lost my mental marbles when I started going down a bit, and I was like, say World War I, what? Like unveiling the secrets of World War I from assassination to armistice. And he's using, looks like game components and stuff. And the Treaty of Versailles and the Russian, I was just like, oh my goodness. This looks really, 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 really neat. So, yeah, I just was like, you know what, if somebody, let's be a little bit of a voyeur here. And give the guy some love. And now we're going to go to the next thing, which I have not answered yet, or even I mentioned this to Meandering Mike earlier in the week. So somebody on Board Game Geek, BGG here, posted a question, and you guys can see that. Excellent. I'll see if I can make myself. Just let me know if you guys want to just Says Meandering Mike says, I'll have to put those videos on my watch list. Excellent. Crispy Galactic, Axis and Allies will be next for the kids. They're going to freak. Yes, it is. And you know what? I haven't played any of the other ones. The World War I was a ton of fun. I only played a turn or two, but I just got too much stuff on my plate. Can you guys see that enough, or would you rather because it's too here? You know what? I want to make sure that you guys can really read. There we go. Charles Dufour says, we have modified and continued the tradition to remember my father, who has been gone for 23 years. 12/22. His birthday, we let the grandkids open a gift and have a movie night. Oh, wow. Well, I hope you guys have a good day today, Charles, for sure. And get to do some really cool stories. So anyways, I thought no one's answered this person yet. I don't feel qualified to answer this, but I think I would like to discuss it with you guys, and maybe through discussing or taking a look at what this person is having struggles with, or wants to, let's read it out, for crying out loud. And maybe you guys have some ideas, which would be great. And if you do, I can maybe hopefully incorporate them into mine and be able to answer this person, because I certainly would like to. But like I said, I just didn't feel qualified to be able to do it. So since I've been pounding through scenarios for the past week or two, the system has the breadth that I'm looking for with World War I. But there is something that I'm missing. Maybe someone here can help me. And this is about the Weltkrieg. Well, he tells you right here, the facts. I play solitaire, all from the East Front and the Ottoman War scenario modules for Weltkrieg. I found that often my games turned into long lines of small stacks. This was very stagnant. Wherever the front formed, it stayed. My solution to this was to take advantage of the surrender rules and spend more effort trying to surround units and groups of units. This turned the games into historically themed Go. And I don't know anything about Go, except that it's a Chinese game. And one of my Animal Crossing characters mentions it every once in a while. That's all I know about it. I love the art, the fairly straight. So if you guys know about Go, please let me know. I love the art, the fairly straightforward rules. I've even found that scenarios start and end with something that looks historically plausible. But the middle part, gameplay, is heavy on the game and light on the historically accurate. I'm confident that this is due to something that I am missing. Is there a way to play this system that provides insights into the way these campaigns happen? Or is this really a beer and pretzel system with a ton of historical theme? I don't want to believe this is true, but surely having a few divisions miles from home out to surround an enemy army is not correct. Meandering Mike says, Go is very positional, all about capturing by surrounding. Okay. Boy, wouldn't that be an interesting thing to look at? So anyways, I just thought you guys would maybe at some point be able to I don't know, provide a little bit of insight for me or something, and I could, flip it back to that person. The next bit of, I guess, news, if you want to call it that, and I'll grab the link, is that the Not So Quiet on the Western Front channel, the YouTube channel, Garnet, I can't remember the two guys that do it. It's great podcasts, and I'll pop that in the thing. They just did a bonus episode for the Christmas truce. And the odd thing was, last night I didn't want to watch it. I was like, oh, Christ, another goddamn
mud. And the act of burying your fallen friend.
Another goddamn Christmas truce thing. I'm getting a little tired of it. And it's weird because at some point they were talking about, that both of them were kind of like get a little bit not upset, a little their feathers unfurl or in a ruffle or whatever about so much attention and the commemoration of the Christmas truce and so on and so forth. And that, there's so many there's just so many myths and things attached to it. But I just thought that was kind of what else did they say about it, or did I put it in? Oh, this is the nice things that I do want to say. Is that, and they go on and on and on about it at the end of this thing, saying that please share, like tell everybody about our channel and so on and so forth. So I'm like, well, don't you worry, I'm going to do what I can here. So that's it. And he also said that because they were talking about the Christmas truce, saying that the differences between the trenches. I mean, they were just starting to dig in both sides in 1914. Oh my gosh! And some of the anecdotes that they talk about, like for example, whereas there's that one point where I don't know who it was, a captain or a sergeant or whoever it was, wading through the trench. And the infantrymen that could see him coming towards them would all get up on their tiptoes because they know that the wake of the water that he was going to be bringing towards them was going to nail more part of their body that had been dry for such a long period of time. This is like, holy F. Like, but anyways, so they talk about, they're like, you've got to remember the trenches in 1914 are nothing that you're going to see, like, come 1916 or something like, or even a year later. And that's when they were like, okay, let's talk about maybe the evolution of trench warfare. And they're like, oh, we got to do more than one episode on this. And I was like, yes. So that's going to be next year. They're going to be doing that stuff. And then on the flip side, I was thinking, oh, darn it. Well, it's kind of a good darn it in essence, is that Harro Bosma way back when, remember, was bringing that up, and that kind of led us off in this little garden path of, hey, let's find out a bit more about trench warfare or the evolution and taking a look at and some of the different things, because he was mentioning that, hey, I heard the German trenches were extremely elaborate compared to like the British ones and so on and so forth, and that's when we start talking about, well, you got to remember, all of us have to remember that the Germans were on the defensive. I mean, they want to dig in, they don't want to move, kind of thing, that type of thing. So anyways, that's looking good. I'm excited that I thought at first that these podcasts were just going to be just a few, and like it was just going to be an off thing. I was kind of like, oh, that kind of sucks. Now we're going to go to, I'm going to stop the screen here for this one. And I'm going to show what I was talking to you about, Charles Latora, when you had mentioned, and then also with Man in a weirdo way, of saying that, how much you've learned or you didn't know about World War I. And I'm going to pop this on, I hope. See if I can find it. Do I still have it around? No, I just have to grab it. Okay, hold on. I'm going to find it. And it was something that I was reading. And I'll put them here. Hopefully that'll look good. Let's see. Please. I hope it does. I'm going to share the screen, a window, and it's going to be Polderdick. Excellent. You guys can see Polderdick. Good. And I'm just going to read it very quickly, and hopefully, like I said, if there's any time I'm doing something, because remember, I'm going to hammer this home over and over again. This is your live stream as much as it is mine. So if there's things that you're not enjoying or whatever, you got to say, man, can we change this up? Or this is boring as hell or whatever. I don't want you reading a big long whatever. So I saw this entry in the book, and it's about trench mortar officers and how they're like the most despised people in the front, basically. And just this thing here about Polderdick, and he goes up, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. You guys can take a look at it. And it just basically, destroys the entire piece that has been going on, just goes up there. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And after all that, I'm going to stop the screen. It's not real. It wasn't real. It's never actually happened. It's part of a piece of fiction in some novel. But I got completely hooked into it. I thought, well, it was a real thing. And it just clicked in my head. It was like, Chris, man, you have to make sure that, you know what I mean? Like, keep a critical eye or whatever, and so on and so forth. And it was interesting, even like last night when I was listening to the podcast for the Christmas truce, they were saying a few things that are counter to the trench warfare book that I'm reading that are, and I was like, so I'm getting discrepancy thing, and I was like, okay, which one do I want to side? I'm like, well, you got to go and find somewhere else, whatever, and that type of thing, because there's a lot more people on their side, the podcast side, than there is on this one author. Even though, and just because I'm finding what this one author is writing to be very compelling, and I am enjoying it, doesn't mean that I should, let that bias, whatever. Okay, so I just wanted to mention that I've got to be, I was like, whoa, it just threw me for a loop. I thought for sure this polder dick person was real, and so on and so forth. And I was coming up like in my little head of that person pulled a polder dick, like kind of stupid sayings and whatnot. Okay, now we're gonna go to the week, and oh, good morning, Hex to Hex. Great to see you. And by the way, your expected delivery date is the 4th of January, I do believe. All right, so we're going to go to leave this guy. Wait a minute. No. Should I? Yes, we'll put him in there now because it should have. So this is one thing I was, and then we're going to go to the week. I'm going to present this. Hold on, I've got to pop it into the thing here. So when I was thinking about the evolution of trench warfare, and with the I'm going to share the screen, and Hex to Hex pulled a polder dick, exactly. You got it. Please let us know what you're up to, Hex to Hex. No, thank you, Hex to Hex, because I guess the only stipulation is I hope to God that you'll do some videos for it. Everybody gets to watch you play Warsaw 1920, which would be fantastic. So I'm going to put this in. Now, remember, I picked this up at Can Games. I picked this up at Can Games just in May. No Man's Land, the trench warfare thing. And as you can see here, and I thought, wait a minute, this is going to be it'll be kind of neat to see if I could, or we could look. I'm not going to be playing it, as you know. I mean, I'm pathetic that way. But would it be a possibility of taking a look at this game and seeing some of the scenarios while I report back, or whatever, if you want to call it that, for from the podcasts? I was thinking maybe that's a possibility. Okay, so I'm going to stop that screen. We don't need that anymore. I'm going to get rid of it. I'll leave the browser open. Okay, Meandering Mike says, well, you can read the comments as well, but he wishes you a good morning. And now we're going to go to the week. I'm going to present the screen. Do I have it open? Yes, thank goodness. And I really enjoyed this week, if you want to call it that. There are some 33 pages of entries in the Globe for the week. I was like, holy smokes. Like, I went through, it was a long time to go through. Okay, so I can do this, and it seemed to have worked nicely. Aha! We're on the wrong one here. So I picked the wrong, that's my link, so I can zip all over Hell's Acres here. So I've got to, don't I have the other window open? No, I don't. That's why, because I don't have the other window. There. Now I know I can grab you. There we go. Bingo bongo. So we'll go through this quickly. William Arends says it is interesting to consider that the grinding halt of the Central Powers before Paris in 1914 led to the eventual defeat in 1918, even though the Central Powers won on the Eastern Front. Yes, William Arends, man. And I think I've mentioned this book before, the What If book. I'm not reading the whole thing. I'm obviously just going to read the chunk on World War I, but it is fantastic. It's actually the editor of the book does the article for the World War I bit, Mr. Cowley here, Robert Cowley. And it's got a whole thing about the Marne and what the Schlieffen plan and the what ifs and so on and so forth. And you can find a copy of that, William Arends, just for even just that little chunk, or like a PDF things. I recommend just that. It was fun. It was fun as hell to read. So anyways, let's go. Hopefully you guys are reading this as well. I'm just sorry, I can do it in real time. Excellent. Thought I caught all the spelling mistakes, but it's just, I thought also it's going to be neat to see I think some of the stuff that we're going to see what happened this week in 1915. Charles Latora says, hello, Hex. To kind of connect the dots later on when I take a look, we take a look at the globe stuff. It's real. I just find it really, really neat. So yeah, and you were mentioning last week there, William Arends, about isn't it fascinating that here are in World War I the Kurds and the Turks are working together against the Russians. I will say this on the side note, and that's also about slightly, I guess, being fooled with the Polderdick thing was last week when we were reading up on what happened and finding out that how close the Russians were in Tehran. I was like, what in the world's going on? Where the hell? Why are they there? I didn't understand. Like, when did Persia all of a sudden become part of a thing? I thought this was like a hands-off place. So there's a lot of things I got to have to start cluing into, and it bothered me that I completely seemed to have just didn't even like. Maybe on a side note of what Meandering Mike was saying about forgetting about things that he's read. I'm thinking, oh my God, I probably did know about this stuff, and it just went right through my head and right out the other end. Hexdex is good review for East Africa. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? That's all I got to say. Simultaneous naval bombardment, Turkish front in Cape Helles. Is there any? This I thought was kind of neat to see. I haven't seen this yet in the chronology book, which was that they were showing me how many divisions that the Ottomans had all over the place here. Yeah, like the Russians take Qum in Persia. That kind of, it just bothered me a little bit. Meandering Mike says, thanks, Jeffy. Great to see you, Telemachus. Damn you. Yeah, it's super nice to see you, man. What else? Oh, the release of General De Wet of South Africa. I think he was one of the guys that maybe started a bit of the rebellion at the very, very beginning of World War I, and it didn't work. William Arends says, in contrast, it was the defeat of the Axis armies at Moscow in 1941 that led to the eventual defeat in 1945, though they had successfully overrun the Western Front. Thus, World War II is a mirror image of World War I. Interesting. And Hexdex says, morning, Telemachus. What else did I thought? Yeah, we'll just kind of quickly go over here quickly, relatively quickly. This I thought was neat. I'm not going to try to pronounce the bloody name. But so here we go on the 21st. French success at this place with 1,300 prisoners taken. Okay, look what happens the next day. Germans regain footing at that place. And then on the 23rd, French success at that place. I was like, holy Lord Lifton. What other interesting things that I thought was neat was there something about, it's to try to connect the dots, which we're about to do, is go to the globe thing, is I thought I had seen, debate on Anglo-Danish agreement. Nope. I thought there was something about German threat to invade Greece. Yep. Forbids Bulgarian troops to set foot on Greek soil. There's a lot of Greek stuff going on right now after the Serbs have pushed through the Albanian mountains and have been driven out. And the Bulgarians drove out the friend. Remember, last week, the French and the British are essentially evacuating and fortifying Salonika. Telemachus says, Hexdex, hello, early riser. Yes. Okay, so we've done that. And now we'll go to the... How do I do this? I'm going to do the images. Sorry. I want to show you what the globe, kind of some of the headlines had, but now I've got to grab the picture. And please let me know, guys, if things are not working out or are working out. And hold on. Oh gosh, darn it! There is one other piece of news I'm going to show you. Then we're going to go to, and it's ironically, but I don't think you're going to. You don't need to do it. Crispy Galactic is. I'm about to show you from one of my favorite used bookstores. They have a flash sale right now, 50% off, 15% off. Imagine if you're in the UK, free deliveries. But when I type in to take a look at World War I books, I would probably I would be there for the actual real amount of 4 years and a bit to go through their list of all the books that they have. It's just ridiculous. Anyways, we've done that. So now we've gone. It's good. You guys can see this, and that's what I wanted. Some kind of nice little. You can see me a little bit if you want, and thing here. Like I said, I just wanted to show you headlines that were from last week in the Globe in Toronto in Canada, and I so wish at some point that we'll be able to get translated the exact same type of stuff from here, but from the other side. I want to get this from Germany or Austro-Hungary. I will say this: it blows me away that this amount of information is being, that is out here. So I just thought maybe you guys would want to take a look at and see some of the stuff that is going on in some people's heads. I did find this rather interesting. This little tiny tidbit, like I said, there's a whole thing here. I just doing like a little crop for you guys, kind of thing. Italian sailor, first survivor of the Ancona. And it was, what did he say? Something like 40 shots were fired at the Ancona by the Australian submarine, and that more shots were fired at the lifeboats after they had been loaded with passengers. I was just like, whoa. Here's another one, 750,000 troops lost in the Italian campaign. Italians' share of the losses total about 350,000. Jesus. Peace pact is signed. Feds are recognized. And this is, remember, this is from, oh no, this is Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay. 118 wounded soldiers arrive in Canada. Was it an attempt to blow up? Yeah, I keep here. I see these things every once in a while in the chronology and whatnot. Does seem to be a little bit of what do you call it? What would that be? Domestic terrorism or something like that? Crispy Galactic says these numbers are crazy. Yeah, especially for back in those days, isn't it? Yeah, and she got fined. Oh my God! No, you haven't seen that. You haven't seen that headline yet. This little girl gets fined $20 for banging on about Germany. That basically Germany's going to win, and so they're like, it's like holy moly. Like I said, I just thought I'll try to maybe put these in the community tab if you guys are interested. But like I said, I provide the links in here, so off you can go. By the way, Crispy Galactic, I know for a fact that our library system in Ottawa, so I'm assuming yours as well, I have free access to this database. That's why I'm able to get all this amazing stuff. It's just mind-boggling. Italians. Oh, there's this one I found really neat, and it corroborated some stuff that Dr. Vanda Wilcox was talking about when she was mentioning. We'll get to it at one point. Oh my God, it's 10:45. What the hell is going on with me? I'm nowhere near half the stuff that I'd like to talk about. Is that she mentions that when she was viewing Italy as empire, that the Italian government viewed Italian nationals living anywhere, that you were still part of the Italian empire, and you were expected essentially to report to Italy for war, to the war. And a lot of people did actually, obviously mostly from the United States and Canada. But here's a bit of that of an article talking about this, and I was like, whoa, this is so neat. That and here's this thing yet again, Meandering Mike. It's always good to be brimming with more material. Thank you. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. We got orphans like there's no tomorrow. But it's weird. I bumped up the Sanusi campaign a little bit more, and we're still not getting to. I'll try as hard as I can here. But here's this bit here about remember, Greece is a neutral country, and now we've got free transport, basically, of the French and British troops are just back and forth any which way they want, and are fortifying Salonika for themselves, essentially. It's like, holy moly. So, you know, it's not, I just, like I said, I just find this, all this stuff massively fascinating. Where are we at? What number? Oh, we got 10 more pictures, and then we're off to the war summary. So I'll try to go relatively quick. But 75 out of 100 candidates for, I found that really interesting because a few months ago when I was reading up about listening to a podcast or whatever, or a lecture on battalion commanders, the British battalion commanders and whatnot, and the battalion commander examination thing, holy moly, 30% success rate. So they're firing them off through here at this point. I can tell you that much. Jeepers jumping. Yeah, I was really surprised. It was neat to hear about like the preparation before the exam, that they had like a 3-hour course they had to do, and they were assigned like a little tiny and it used to be like a mixed group, so it wasn't just like you would have just infantry. You'd also have to be in charge of like a bit of artillery and so on and so forth. I thought, wow, this is pretty neat. But you had to come up with a plan and, you know, present it to, I guess, whoever was higher up from you. So not enough enlisting. Yeah, it's because the news has been returning for over a year. Let's be honest. So more stuff here. What are we at? Oh, this it's not part of it. I've never seen anything like this, guys. This is the table of contents for the newspaper. I was like, whoa, this is so neat. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. So I thought I've got to show it to you guys. I don't know if you guys have ever seen anything like that, but Italy sends aid to Serbians. New Bulgarian army is being prepared. I thought this was really fascinating. Imagine this. This is in Canada. Like, you're just somebody picking up the newspaper and you can read all about this. I just find this like, wow. There's 150,000 people armed with Austrian rifles. Food prices engross the Reichstag's attention. Does anybody, I'm assuming you guys must know, what does Reichstag mean? What's the English translation? I would love to know. Like, is it people something or something? This I thought was neat. Stop food to foe by parcel post. Considerable quantities of food are being sent to Germany by parcel post from America, and we are in communication with our ambassador in Washington on the subject. It's like, whoa. And books of the day, I just thought maybe you guys would want to take a look at that, because I don't know. I just was like, well, I want to find out what kind of things people were reading back then. And we're at number 19. No hay export for, so you can see what's happening. And then the last one is sudden French stroke paralyzes the foe. The following official communication was issued by, there has been cannonading on both sides in several sectors in Belgium and Artois, and between the Somme and the Oise. Meandering Mike says literally translates to Parliament. Oh, thank you. Okay, so I think, hold on here. You're number 21. Aha. So now's the war summary, which I just absolutely love. I don't want to, I'm not going to read the whole bloody, you guys can just look. I don't know how to do these things. I'm like, it's, I don't know if you guys are, you know, go, God, we don't read it, or we can read it ourselves or whatever. But just thought maybe you guys would want to take a look at that. Or maybe I'll just take or see what I see, little bits. But there it is. To see, during which the defenses of Salonika will be materially strengthened. Just read. Oh, very well. Crispy Galactic says, it is announced that the general commanding the 5th Army Corps, which has been occupying Salonika, delivered to General Saray before the evacuation of the city by his troops a written protest against the work of fortification begun by the Allied troops. This protest is understood to have been of a purely formal nature and similar to that presented when the Allied troops first landed in October. It is reasonably certain that Greece will take no hostile measures against the continued presence of Allied troops in Salonika, which will remain the principal base for the Franco-British Army operating in the Balkans throughout the war. Holy Christ, the number of British and French soldiers now in the city or at the front near the Greek border is estimated at 200,000. And I'm assuming a significant number of those, I would assume, are coming, are like, congratulations, we've evacuated you from Gallipoli and now you're off to Macedonia. Jesus, Murphy. The Serbian army in Albania is being refitted. Oh, I didn't know that. And is said to number no less than 200,000 men. Italy has been landing troops in Albania also at Avlona, Durazzo, and elsewhere. And while no official statement is available as to their numbers, it is unofficially estimated that they total from 80 to 120,000 men. Okay. And then we've got this. I'm not going to read the whole bits because it's big. But this I thought, I did make a little, couple of little, what do you call it? Notes saying, take a look here. This is interesting, I found. It says here, there is something of importance going on behind barred doors in Russia, which may have relation to Balkan affairs. And I'm wondering is this got something to do with the preparation for Brusilov offensive? But I don't know when the Brusilov offensive starts. Because that... it's not till 1916. I know we're at the end of 1915 here, but I don't know. But like you see here, and KG, it'll be neat to find out what's going on here. There's been no change on either the Western or the Caucasus front. A German report states that the Russians who penetrated into the German lines to the south of Vinsk were thrown out again by a counterattack, and that south of the Pripyat marshes, an attack on von Lindgren's front also failed. There's little news from the Western Front. A British official dispatch tells of a raid on some German trenches near Armentières, which were entered and the occupants disposed of apparently by bayonet and bomb. The German loss was about 70 killed, the British trifling. There was an artillery duel. I always find that fascinating when they use that phrase, artillery duel. Yesterday around Ypres. It is added that the German wireless report of Wednesday that the British lost 4 airplanes is untrue. The Turks were not able to rush the British position at Kut al-Almara on the Tigris. General Townsend reports that they have ceased attacking. He estimates their losses at fully 1,000 men, while the Arabs put the Turkish losses in Sunday's assaults as high as 2,000. And there's a renewed talk of a serious Turkish expedition against Egypt. Since the abortive attempt of last winter, the Turks have built a railway. That blew me away. Holy smokes. When I read this morning, I was like, whoa, I certainly want to go and see if I can find out where this railway has extended south across the Syrian desert, which is to believe, believed will enable them to mass a considerable army close to the Suez Canal with very much less effort than was required to cross the desert prior to the former campaign. The British garrison in Egypt is active and alert, and there seems to be no fear that the Turks will ever get across the canal in strength sufficient to menace Egypt. Germany will do anything humanely possible to secure for her ally and herself a foothold in Egypt is certain. And Paris reports actions by French heavy artillery in the Valley of the Ain, and comes a report of the continued shelling of Goritza by Italian artillery and of a bombardment on the countryside west of the Isonzo by long-range Austrian guns. There's been no infantry actions. All right, so I stopped that. That's the end of that. Where are my little notes here? We've done the week. Oh my God, we're off to the Senussi. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. We've got 6 minutes. And I will tell you how I'm going about with the Senussi thing. On a side note, though, I'm going to say this. Meandering Mike, if he's still around, is that with the Leto Vorbeck Hand of Destiny series, when I was watching them, I was like, wait a minute. I mean, obviously, it was due to the fact it's in Africa as well. I was like, could this not be, I mean, if obviously you have to do some research because you have to find out enough, if there's enough events to make event cards. but could this that system be used for Cameroon, for example? I think we were talking about this before, months and months ago, when we started getting into the Great War in Africa book and all that stuff. Of geez, all these little interesting scenarios, like they have the Battle of Tanga and your Leto Vorbeck thing, but there's a lot of conflicts that happen in Africa that are not covered in games. And I was thinking, wait a minute, maybe that could be used, as well as when we get towards here with the Senussi, with this cat and mouse thing. This is the same thing. I was like, maybe that could also be looked at some point. That would be kind of neat. And on a side note, too bad that Erich BattleReady's not around, because he's like Mr. Seems like Mr. Playtester or Mr. Game Idea. So I was like, maybe he would have, his ears would have perked up a little bit with that thing. Okay, so I'm going to stop that. Then we're going to go off to the Senussi. And I'm going to try to, so how I'm going to do the Senussi campaign or whatever, I was thinking, because I was a little worried that I didn't want to bite off more than I can chew again, or just go over things way too quick. So I was like, okay, no, we're going to slow down and backtrack a little bit. First thing how am I going to do this? Well, I'm going to show you some pictures. We're going to show you some images. I'm going to try not to look at the images, and I'll try to talk a bit about what I know so far about the Senussi and the lead up to November, December 1915. And like I said, how I would like to go about it. And if you guys can fill me in and we can go from there, that would be awesome. Well, like I said, I'll present the screen and we can go from there. Yes. So this is from the International War Museums, Imperial War Museum, sorry. And if you go down to the Senussi on their collection, you can go and take a look, and they've got some amazing photographs and so on and so forth. So what do I know about the Senussi? Like I said, I take everything I say with a grain of salt. Started somewhere around the 1840s. I don't know the guy's full-on name. Senussi, well-educated person that wanted to get back to actually I'm not yeah, so just so that way you guys can actually, you know what, I'm gonna get rid of me so you can see a bit more, but I wanted you guys to also see the description, so that way we can know what the heck you're kind of looking at, and then we can go from there. And it seems like Charles Latora says, asking my first pass at some variation on the Solar War game. Oh, excellent. It seems like, so you wanted to get back more into the teachings of Muhammad and whatnot, and it seems that his way of doing things and the way he was presenting it struck a chord with a lot of people, and he ended up getting a fairly good following. They ended up making a capital at an oasis, which, and I was like, well, do I really know what the heck an oasis is? Not really, to be honest with you. I mean, I've got, this whatever. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go off later and find out what an oasis is. How are oases made? How many are there? How big can they get? Are there like big movement connections, all that type of stuff? Oh, I found this real. I think I used this as a World War I image of the day, didn't I? Because I found it really compelling. But I thought that was really neat to see. So what else? They seem to have gotten along fairly well with the Ottomans, even in Ottoman-controlled Libya. Then we've got the Italo. Oh, there's your armored cars. The Italo-Turkish War. And it seems, from what I've been reading, that and podcasts and all the other stuff, let's just say what I've been finding out. How's that? Is that the Ottomans and the Senussis helped out the Ottomans. Meandering Mike says, midnight at the oasis. Send your camel to bed. and that so they were helping out the Ottomans against the Italians. Then when the Italo-Turkish War ended and the Italians won, and the peace treaty was signed, and they get Libya. Guess what? They signed the treaty. The Senussi didn't. These I really find neat later on when we trying to wrap my head around the bays and Solemn and all that stuff. William Mann says the Turks never made it to the Suez Canal in World War I coming from the east, and the Germans never made it to the Suez Canal in World War II coming from the west. Examples again. Oh, interesting. Of similar objectives and outcomes. Neat, William Arends. But that was one of the neato things about the Senussi stuff is that later on, they're like, hey, wait a minute, we can cause a bit of grief if the Senussi will play ball, which they end up doing. So when the war, like I said, so they didn't sign the peace treaty. So they just keep fighting with the against the Italians in Libya for quite a long time. Well, they just keep on doing it. And then war breaks out. As far as I know, the Ottomans and please let me know if you guys want me to just grab any old picture that you see and go, whoa, there are some Senussi somewhere. And I think I may have used them as well for a World War I image of the day. That one I find really neat too. Those are some Bedouin. Anyway, so then the war breaks out. The Ottomans and the Germans say, hey, man, do you want to help us out? And as far as I know, the Senussi say, nah, not really. And they don't. Then later on, with the promise of giving them a ton of weapons and money and so on and so forth, and making one of their, I can't remember the guy's name, saying you're going to be the governor of whatever of all that area. Eventually they do declare jihad, and that's when we get into that. That's where I'm going to stop. I don't want to start talking anymore about, but I will, hold on, as in I don't want to get too far into whatever, but all this stuff I did pop in the links and sources thing. So hold on here. We'll go to this one, which is a dandy. Oh shit! Sorry guys, we're at 11:01. We're about to end. So this is a dandy. If you want to go into here, I'm just going to we're going to have to stop, and we'll just have to continue on from there later on. So I'm going to try to put some on. I really like that GMT map, but if you guys can give me some ideas of some good maps where we can find a lot of these locations for these oases. I've got a ton of them written down, and there's like the Bahariya light rail system that was built by the Brits. I want to find out about. I would like to start incorporate. Like I said, I don't want to. This is a huge war, and we constantly are focusing on the typical fronts, and it's like let's wrap our heads around the whole thing here. And like we were saying before, this little bit here with these Senussi and whatnot ends up tying up 50,000 plus British troops for the remainder of the war. They are not being used anywhere else. And you think about all the resources that are put in towards that. Impressive. Meandering Mike says, I can't find any game on Cameroons. Exactly. It might be feasible to use the Hand of Destiny series for it. You need to come up with 9 cards for each side. Okay, only 9 events. And we would have it. That would be really easy. Meandering Mike, if you remember, and I mean, we did it quite a bit, but there was a lot going on in Cameroon. A ton. A lot of ship stuff going back. Oh my gosh. Easy to do. I think we could do 90 events, no problem. And the Cameroon campaign lasts a long time. It's not, I mean, as we know, it's not like the Toga thing, which is like, you blink and it was over. All right. So darn it. That's it. We're way past 11:03 here. I didn't even get to the BGG game of the week, which we'll try next week, which is the Tannenberg in the opening battles in the East. And this is part of the SPI. It was what did Meandering Mike call it? The fifth wheel. It's part of the quad series, but it was part of the S&T magazine thing. Charles Latora says, card idea, commanding officer eaten by wildlife or your bloody bees. Well, William Harris says 3 cheers for Meandering Mike's playthrough of the German Easter. What the hell did I just say? What the hell have I been saying? Meandering Mike, lunch. I'll take credit for being one of the first people to bang on about it. How's that? Yeah, it was a dandy, Meandering Mike. Like, hats off to you, man. Like, there you go. Hats off to you. Okay, guys. I hope you guys have a great weekend, remainder of the week. I hope I see you next week. If there's any suggestions, for goodness sakes, pop them in the comments. Say, hey, I'd like to a little bit more of this or a little less of that. That type of thing. I want more game or, less news or more news, less game, whatever. Just let me know. Hex, thank you. Great to hear about it. And like I've said before, Meandering Mike mentions this almost every week. Thanks, William. Lunch, Telemachus. Thanks, later, folks. Crispy Galactic. I'm landlining you in 30 minutes. Fantastic. Meandering Mike says more nudes. Okay, no problem. But they're going to be. Wow, we could do the World War I pinup girls or something. That would be interesting. X-Tex is a show on how each front in World War I affected. Oh yeah, believe it or not. Meandering Mike, Meandering Mike, Hextax, I just watched, I attended a lecture a couple of months ago exactly about that, of how the Eastern Front affected, how the Eastern and Italian fronts affected the Western Front. So there you go. Crispy Galactic says, thank you, very informative. Crispy Galactic says, I'm in. Charles Latora says, we'll be all safe. Have a good weekend in Exodus. There you go, guys. I'll see you later. Let's truck on. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, bye.